Greetings and welcome to Inmates for Change. My name is Jones. I'm your host and we are on the air. I want to thank you all for coming in and tuning in. This is our pilot shot for the segments that we have coming. I would like to let you know that I'm the CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit Inmates For Change. We're dedicated to breaking the bondage of destructive thinking. Most of our focus is dedicated toward reentry issues as well as some of the concerns and legislation of the day that's progressively changing, hopefully, and in more theory than not, for the betterment of cohesiveness throughout. I'm going to take today and discuss breaking the cycle. What we're going to go through is discussing some of the topics and points of interest that you need to have along the lines of reentering. Me, myself, I am a returning citizen, and when I returned home from my incarceration, I found it very, very difficult to secure gainful employment and reintegrate back into family, society, and corporate America, even though I possess 25 years sales experience, 17 years managerial experience. I ran my own business for 15 years, and I was a cable tech for 10 years. Still at that, it was still hard to get into the corporate America mindset, or not even that, but the image of progressing forward with hopeful employment aspirations. I found that it's a tough go, and though I possessed all of those skills, I was still being held back because of the felony conviction that I possess. So today's topic, again, is breaking the cycle. Those of you who would like to call in as we're doing the show, you can reach us at 312-738-1060. Now, what I would like to do is just take a moment right quick and give you an idea how to reach us. We are Inmates for Change. Our website is inmatesforchange.org. Email is being taken at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. Alrighty, now that we're going to get started, let's start off with breaking the cycle and how important it is for you to break the cycle once you're getting out here. The first thing that you really, really need to do is you need to believe that the cycle can be broken. And what that simply means is believing that the cycle can be broken, you understand that this is something that I know I can overcome, even though I have a lot of challenges in front of me, a lot of distorted thinking going on. I have a history of non-support from my family, and I kind of feel lost at sea with this kind of thing. So I need to believe that the cycle can be broken. Here's a great thing that I've heard along the way. That is that if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And we have to understand that when we get individuals who say, in my arena, Jones, this is all I know, man. You know, well, no, that's not all you know. It's all that you're focusing on at this point. And taking another page from another notebook of another person who spoke before I did, there's nothing more powerful on this earth than a made-up mind. So once we get our belief system working, we can start working toward breaking the cycle. The thing that happens most when we talk about breaking the cycle is we need to understand that the cycle can be broken. But how do you go about it when you're attempting to break your cycle and move forward within some of the minefields and obstacles that you're going to come across? Well, for that piece there, what we offer is that you learn how to develop a spiritual foundation. One thing I knew is that when I started out with trying to figure out how to get to where I'm trying to go, I had to find another way to tap into a source that was greater than me. That source turned out to be, in my particular case, a spirit of the Creator. And he informed me that you can keep doing what you're doing and get what's coming, or you can come with me. So there comes a piece of a total surrender of my old ways, my old patterns of thought, my old destructive behaviors, and this type of thing. And what I want to really attain is some semblance of success on a consistent basis. And in order for me to do that, I've got to develop the small steps. And I've got to develop small step accomplishments, because if I don't develop my small step accomplishments, what happens is I think that my goal that I'm shooting for is too far in front of me. So let's just say, for an example, I want to get this new car. Well, to get the car, I know first I need to get a job. But before I do that, I have to understand that I believe I can get this car. So here we go. Now, you see the car, and now we start progressively moving backward to find how we have to develop our small steps to make the accomplishments. We have to first believe that the cycle can be broken. Second, we need to develop a spiritual foundation. Those of us who are about religion and that type of thing, and if that works for you, fine. But there's an indwelling spirit that's inside of you that we call your first mind. Your first mind is the spirit telling you how to safely navigate what you're going through. Now, there are times when many of us, especially those of us who have made mistakes in our past, and we say, man, something told me that I should have done thus and so, or something told me that I should. That was spirit. And that's the spiritual foundation that I'm speaking about developing. Once you understand that this spirit lives and dwells inside you, and it also speaks and is waiting for a dialogue, then now you can start moving toward your development of your small step accomplishments along your journey. Those of you who like to join the conversation, please give us a call. We're at 312-738-1060. On another note, when we're speaking about breaking the cycle, I need to start journaling my progression. You know what? We have a lot of times when we're looking toward what we're doing, we don't have any track record of how we're going about obtaining these goals that we've set. So, in developing my small step accomplishments, I surely need to understand that I'm going to need to journal my progress so that I can learn how to overcome some of the failures, which will come, because these failures come as a birth of, this is new. Have you seen the little baby who's learning how to walk? The baby who's learning how to walk will fall countless times, but the baby believes that it can walk. And so with the baby believing that it can walk, then it's going to start developing small step accomplishments. Holding on to furniture, grabbing your hand when you put your hand out as a parent to help the baby along the way. And now the baby is going to start progression in whatever the thing that the baby has in mind, and that is to start walking. It works the same way about our reentry back into community and transitioning into society. We've got to understand that to become part of what it is that we're aiming for, we've got to believe it. There is nothing more powerful on this earth than a made-up mind. Now, you may hear me say that throughout because we're going to be here for a while, believe that. Not today, but I'm saying over the course of the time that we're going to be running. And I'm always telling us about how we can break the bondage of our destructive thinking by first believing that we can break the bondage. Because if you're stuck in your thinking about, this is not something that I know about, Jones, I really don't think I can do this thing, or something to that effect, then we have to understand too, now that's your belief system. So whether you believe that you can or whether you believe that you can't, you're right. Your mind is more powerful than you give it credit for. And we have to understand that along this line of breaking the cycle, attaining some of the successes that we see others experiencing and enjoying, recommunicating back into our families, reconnecting back into our communities, and becoming a better person all throughout is part of our belief system. Once we start changing our belief, we can find a way that we can do better by focusing our mind toward what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Those of you individuals who are coming home or headed for coming home, I want to give you a little piece here about letter writing to your loved ones. Now, letter writing to your loved ones does not necessarily have a body of work that works with, I'm sorry, No, you can start with your letter writing to start developing your communication and connectedness back to your individual that you're talking with or trying to connect with. I've got a caller on the line, and caller, please join the conversation. Who am I speaking with, please?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. My name is Ray.
Hey, Ray.
You hear me?
Yes, I can. Just a little louder, though. I can hear you, though.
Yes. Okay. You know, in order to do what you're saying is is perfect, but you have to be in the right frame of mind. Because if you're not, what would you give? What kind of advice would you give to people that are not in the right frame of mind to take your advice?
Well, that's a great question, Ray. And here's your direct answer to that. For the people who are not in the right frame of mind, now we have instances where there are mental illnesses. We have instances where there is conditioning that an individual has been thinking and doing the same thing the same way for so long that it turns to what am I capable of doing? The one thing I've learned along the lines, and this is absolute, this is on a personal note. As I was coming through, and let's say I saw the little kid riding on his two-wheel bike, and I had a tricycle. What did I do? I started gravitating toward that individual to try to hear what they could tell me about how to master riding a two-wheel bike. Over the course of time, of course, because nothing of this stuff comes easy and it doesn't come fast. What happens here is you have to understand that, first of all, I can't do it by myself. That's first. Second, you got to have some self-worth about it too. Don't keep thinking that you can't do something. You know, like I intimated earlier when I said, this all I know. Hey, Jones, this all I know. No, it's not that's all you know. It's just that's what you've been focusing most of your motivation and your interest in. So with that, I'm speaking that the brain has a piece in it that says there's nothing more powerful on this earth than a made up mind. Every time you made up your mind, that's exactly what you accomplished. Whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, that's what you accomplished. Picture this, that car that the guy's driving that has the for sale sign in the back window. And you know you like that car and you say, man, I think I'm going to get that. The price is fair and that kind of thing. Right then, you've made up your mind that you're going to get this. And you believe that you can. So when you're feeling that I don't have what it takes for me to get going to where I'm attempting to go, you have to tap in that, you know, the spirit of the Creator gave us mastery, power, and dominion over all earthly things. And being that, we are masters of our own destiny, but we have to believe it. You can break that thinking, Ray. You can break that. Not only does Inmates for Change advocate breaking the bondage of destructive thinking, but we also offer a 12-week curriculum where we work with you about reprocessing your process of thinking. We work with critical thinking skills. We work with interpersonal skills. We work with your spiritual connectedness or God consciousness. We also work with your self-image. We put together behavior modification modems and components, and we also work along the lines of a lifestyle change. One thing is for sure. The conditioning of your mind that you have done to convince yourself that you don't have what it takes to make it is the only thing that's holding you back. Now, if we can change your thinking and break the bondage of the destructive thinking, we can get you headed toward a life of empowerment and motivate you to encourage others to follow your same path. I hope that answered your question. And thanks again, Ray, for checking in with us. I want to take a moment here, take a look at what we're offering along the lines of breaking the cycle. And let me just recap over the top. First, we need to believe that the cycle can be broken. Then we need to work at developing a spiritual foundation. We need to develop small step accomplishments. So Ray, keep in mind, all of this will not happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight, but the thought and the belief and the confidence that this will work out just like I planned it. Now there are going to be some little glitches in the way, down the way, but that's how you learn. I need to journal my progression, whether I'm writing daily from time to time, or I'm just keeping a mental note of what's going on with me, that type of thing. This is what I'm speaking about where when we're understanding about journaling our progression. You remember what you did last Friday? You remember what you did last Sunday? You remember what you did this morning? That's journaling. So it doesn't have to be some super college type of program that you're sitting down doing all this endless writing and this kind of thing. You can just remember, you know, some of the stuff that you did to keep from falling into the same traps. We've got to also be cognizant of letter writing to our loved ones, where we're letting them know that we're coming through. And this is dedicated to my guys and girls who are just coming home or on their way home. You want to start bridging the connection so that you can reach out and let individuals who are in your circle, let them know that you've become changed. You're going to do better this time, and here's how, and here's why. That's what your letter writing is for. Now, we've got a piece on here also that I didn't touch on, but I'm getting ready to hit it right now, and that's open dialogue with transparency. A lot of times I have individuals who are asking me, what is transparency, Jones? Well, I'm going to tell you. Transparency is when you are being honest and truthful throughout. You don't hide anymore. You don't lie about the falls that you took. You don't brag about the accomplishments that you've made. You open dialogue with transparency. My wife and I, we have a great dialogue where we sit down and we discuss things that are going on with us. And one of the things I truly want to say about that is that when you've got someone in your corner, they're also there to support you. And they're going through the things that you're going through also, even though you're being the one on the front of it. You know, it's like a train with the passengers in the middle, and then at the end of the train there's a caboose. All that train is going the same way. And this is the type of stuff that happens with us when we're going through breaking the cycle. One thing is for sure, when you start opening dialogue with transparency, the people who are around you are more committed to helping you attain the goal that you've set. You remember how our mothers used to have to reach into their purses when we first got started, and they were saying, are you going to look for a job today? Well, great, there's $5 on the dresser over there, so to take care of your car fare and get you something to munch on while you're out there, maybe an apple or a banana, something to that effect. Of course, I'm talking about 100 years ago when I was coming through, but I'm still saying the principle of it still works the same way. Those people are supporting us by giving us the support, financial, and encouragement and confidence to go through and attain the goal. You know, sometimes the person of interest will say to you, you better find a job by next week. Now you have to work into believing that you can find a job within next week. And that's that part up on the top. You need to believe that the cycle of unemployment can be broken. I need to know that. I'm going to have to pray a little bit. Let me switch over to this card. I'm going to have to pray a little bit to make sure that I can develop a spiritual foundation. Because there are times when we know that we can't do this thing on our own, that we are forced in a way to turn to this higher power. Now, I've also got to understand, I've got to do some small steps. Let's say you went looking for work and you also got turned down 10 times. Well, you're closer now to what it would be for you that's coming than you would have been had you just stopped after the first turn down. You understand what I'm saying? So does this make sense? I'm hoping so. I'm taking your call, so give us a call when you got a chance and add to the conversation. 312-738-1060. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. 312-738-1060. Moving right along, I want to touch on another part that I have that's very part of the integral part of what we're working with, and that is I need to find and secure a sponsor or a mentor. Now, remember I spoke about the little boy who's riding the 2-wheel bike while I'm riding a 3-wheel bike? That person becomes my sponsor or my mentor. You remember how when you decided to join the gangs or started hanging out with the cool cats or the slick chicks and that kind of thing, you had to find a sponsor, someone out there who was already doing what it is that you were attempting to do, and they brought you in step by step with small step accomplishments so that you could become what it is that you had aspired to be. So you need to find and secure a sponsor or a mentor. This is very important. We cannot go on our own. Inmates for Change is dedicated to breaking the bondage of destructive thinking. You don't have to stay in this oppressive mindset. You don't have to stay in this second-class citizenship. You do not have to stay in this behavior that is negative and high risk with the lifestyle. You don't have to stay there. You can make a decision today to change. And what we like to offer is a way that you can get in contact with us. Inmates for Change, 773-746-3075. You can email us at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. Here's the number again, 773-746-3075. And the email address is inmatesforchange@gmail.com. The Inmates for Change website gives you an overview of what it is that we do, and it's part of the things that we've been working through while we've been going along. So what I want you to do is keep that number and that email address in mind so that you can get on top of what it is that you need to be doing. And Ray, I know I'm going to be hearing from you. So keep it coming, man. Keep it coming. Again, we're at 312-738-1060. Along the lines of breaking the cycle, what we're looking at here is a host of things. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus my camera now on the topic points that I'm making so that you can get a chance to, if you're writing this down, which I hope you are, these are the steps. I'm telling you what freed me from this thing of oppressive behaviors, high-risk lifestyle, self-destructive activity, and even poor thinking. The first thing I needed to do was develop the cycle. I had to believe that the cycle could be broken. Pardon me. I also needed to develop a spiritual foundation. Now I am in such a dialogue with the Spirit that I hear it, it hears me, and we talk just like I'm talking to you. Just like that. I know the difference between the Spirit's voice and my thinking. And of course, the enemy is still hovering around trying to make sure that you still on that thing, Jones? You still doing that? Well, yes, I am. And back up, get behind me or get beneath my feet because you ain't got nothing on me. The third point on here is develop the small step accomplishments. I need to know that it's going to take a while for me to get to where I'm trying to go. And because I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go, I need to understand that it's going to take some trial and error, some successes and some failures. We hit a thing where we have, where we know about the credited inventor of the light, which is Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison failed in over 120 experiments while he was trying to develop the light bulb. But now we've got lights. I've got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your comment or your question? I'm listening. Caller.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello?
Hi, I'm here. I can hear you. Go right ahead. Question, comment?
Comment. I would just like to know, I work for Congressman Davis in the Constituent Services, and I would like to know if you know that the governor passed that all ex-offenders can get their background sealed except for which sex offenders, harm to animals, DUI, and domestic violence.
You know, that's a great question. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to answer that. Yes, I got the memo last week. There's a summit coming up on October the 7th that interested parties can call in to find out about that. Again, you can call us at 773-746-3075. Part of that piece is this. There are some legislative activity going on that we've got some successes coming in, and we also have some other things that are going on with reentry. And those will be coming up as the show goes. What I would like to do is offer a little note here. This program has been made possible in part by support from the Mobile Doc. Those are some great guys out there. Now, I want to also say this in closing. Maintain the discipline. All of that stuff that we were talking about, if you don't keep doing it, you won't be able to keep it going. So you got to maintain your discipline. I would like to tell you thank you and have a great night, and we will be going on.